Hello, Aries, and welcome to our October 2021 reading. And we are heading into a month that is, I think, so useful and powerful for the Aries family because we have tons of energy in your opposing sign of Libra. And let me just go through what we have going on over there in Libra. So we have the sun moving through Libra until the 23rd of the month. We have a new moon in Libra on the 6th. We have a Mercury retrograde moving through Libra until the 18th, when it will go direct and then continue forward through Libra. And we have Mars moving through Libra. So we have a ton of really impactful energy working in your opposing sign this month. And for all of us, this is going to be a deep time of looking for inner peace, inner harmony, inner understanding. And I will be getting a lot deeper into my Mercury retrograde work over on my Patreon if you're looking for guidance on this specific one, because it's a pretty powerful one. But for you specifically, why I think this is such a powerful month of growth and clarity is because when we have all this energy in our opposing sign, whether you're an Aries sun, moon, rising, doesn't matter, having some energy opposing like an important central energy in your chart helps you to see yourself from fresh perspectives. It helps you understand your own growth. Like even since Aries season just 6 months ago, right? It helps you understand how we are these transforming beings. It helps us loosen the edges we have around the containers and the identities we are convinced are so essential to our being, and allows us to be open-minded and open-hearted about what we want to see coming in. So this is just really powerful energy for you all, very renewing energy. It can also challenge you on places where, and this is the note that came up for me as I sat with your energy this morning before I sat down here. This is the note that came up. While it's going to support you in acknowledging your growth and getting to see yourself from fresh perspectives, it's also going to challenge where you keep playing the same routines over and over again, and ask you if that's working for you. And the thing that's really interesting about October in general, like for the entire zodiac, for everybody, doesn't matter your chart, is that we are going to be getting to see where we get stuck. Because as humans, as biological survivors in the world, right? Like we are generations and generations and generations of beings who've had to use instincts and all of this stuff. Humans seek the familiar. They seek the familiar food in the forest that they know isn't poisonous. They seek the familiar shelter that they know is safe. We seek familiarity, and we do this even with complex emotional things and things that don't really play by the rules of the natural world when it comes to survival. And even when we think we are being the most adventurous, free-spirited, and believe me, I have been here because I consider myself very adventurous and free-spirited and very much like, I'm just going to do it. I can handle anything. Believe me, I am that person. But even I have caught myself in these interesting patterns, right? So I don't know what your patterns are. We each have our own special, unique blend of habits, patterns, familiar that we seek out. Some of us seek out, chaos and distress is a familiar. That's a really popular one, because even if we know that at some level we want to do something different, it's still familiar. We know what comes with that. We know what role we need to play. We know how to handle it. We know how to solve that problem. We're good at it, right? So this month, and the power and the medicine of this month, is to challenge the familiar, challenge those places that feel bad but also kind of good at the same time because they're familiar, and just really taking a look, because this is also going to be a season that's asking you to open up to who you're becoming and not resist it so much, not try and hold yourself back, because it is a little scary to notice that you're becoming somebody new. 2 cards wanted to come out, Empress and Hierophant, and that's really interesting because this is Taurus energy. Both of the Taurus cards came out for you, which is really, really interesting. these cards are really grounded, really clear. We'll get into them in a moment here, but let me pull another card from my Oracle deck. This is kind of how I'm doing it this month. I'm trying out some different things. So this is the Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. It's really beautiful. It's very like angelic energy, very ephemeral and spiritual and hidden worlds. It's very beautiful. The Mother Awakens. Whoa, okay. Wow. Aries. I'm loving this energy. This is some of my favorite energies to work with. So the Mother Awakens is a card. The keywords are compassion, nurture, guidance. Yes, I love this. There's a lot of themes around here around inner parenting, inner mothering, and calling upon the inner mother that is within you. This is a mother that is part of your heart. It's not like your family history. It's your inner mother is your own creation. It's your own conversation in there. So things we haven't experienced yet, things that are in the unfamiliar. We have to soften ourselves up and get kind of prepped and open to be willing to welcome them in. So that's going to be a huge part of your journey this month. I also want to mention before we get into these cards that while we have this Libra season, which is also about deepening your relationships as well, let's not forget this. This is about deepening your relationships, getting really good and clear on, how you're communicating. Is it working? How is it feeling? Doing review, noticing where maybe, you haven't been communicating or getting defensive, or where you want more communication from your partner, or however that shows up. So that's going to be a theme. We also have energy going to move into Scorpio as we hit Scorpio season. Mars and the Sun are both going to move over there. And this is a season of transformation, and we will continue that conversation in November, but just know that we are also beginning a season where we are shedding a skin. Aries will be shedding a skin of anything that they don't need to take with them. Moving forward into the end of this year and into the new year. So we're going to be doing some pretty powerful stuff with Aries the next couple of months, aren't we? But I love the cards you've gotten today. Every single one of them has to do with inner parenting and working specifically with the inner mother, the inner divine, loving, creative mother. So what's really interesting is I have this whole note, right, about deepening relationships, questioning the familiar and noticing what familiar isn't really loving on you, right? What's not really working for you. And the cards are showing me the way to do this. A way to do this work. Empress energy is definitely inner mother energy. I mean, she is a creative, right? So she wants to birth new things into the world. And it doesn't have, this can be an idea, an art project, a move, change of look, a change of look, a shift, a dynamic, anything, right? She wants to birth those things into the world. But the thing with the Empress energy is she doesn't want to do it from a place of force or a place of doing it because we think it's what people want us to do, or like squeezing ourselves into terrible situations to try and be something we think we need to be. The Empress wants to do it from our truest self. Now, the Hierophant is a spiritual teacher, right? This is energy that has to do with the consistency of spiritual practice and building a really strong foundation. And this is old school energy in some ways, but these are both really tied to how are you honoring your true self in the quiet moments? How are you honoring your spiritual connection? How is that feeling? Now, finally, we have the Mother Awakens. I love this card on the collective level in big ways. But also, this is, again, right? Compassion, nurture, and guidance. So, and this really ties back to the Empress. Here's what we're going to say about the inner mother and how to work with her. The inner mother, the one that we create from our heart space, right? Like I said, not based on family history, regardless of your relationship to mothers, mothering in our culture, in your family, whatever. This is the inner mother for you. She is going to have an energy signature that is there for you 100%, right? It's going to hold you. And while you are navigating things that aren't familiar, giving up an old routine or situation that is so familiar, it just feels like if you put that thing down, what's going to happen? Maybe it won't be okay. Maybe it will be terrifying. Maybe everything will fall apart. Maybe it'll be the wrong decision, right? It's so scary to take that step past something that we know has worked in the past. We know we've done before, and we know how it looks. We know how it feels. One of the best ways to feel comfortable in getting more comfort and more empowerment as we are maybe putting something down that we know we're ready to let go of, we know we're ready to shift or change, but that we're very scared to do so because we aren't guaranteed that it's going to work out, that it's going to look nice, that it's going to be easy, whatever, right? When we activate this inner mother energy, we can feel a lot more comfort and stability inside of ourselves as we step past the familiar. So this month, the directive here is really, really clear for Aries, and it is this: get really grounded, really activate that inner mother compassion, that self-compassion. Practice into it every day if you can. Give yourself those moments to practice into your inner mother compassion. From the vantage point of the inner mother, she is going to say, my love, I want you to be taken care of. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel at peace. I want you to feel supported in your situations and your environments and your habits. How can we do that together? How can we make this happen? And from that place, we make adjustments that aren't just about burning things down or terrifying ourselves. We make adjustments from a true place. And it helps us ease out of familiar patterns, because so often I think when we hear about like letting go of an old familiar pattern, an old familiar way of relating to ourselves, we think about burning it down. We think about destroying it. We think about these kind of really big rites of passage that involve a destructive element. And while there's poetry in that and there's power in that, I would say that the best way to leave behind familiar conditioning is to create a new familiar that works for you. And that is a soft process that takes practice and listening into that heart space. And that is the sustainable way for us to move past old familiar patterns that are holding us and holding us and holding us. And this month is like the perfect opportunity to do just that, my Aries friends. I'm loving this energy. It's giving me huge reminders of needing and wanting to sit with my own inner compassionate mother. I have a really awesome one inside of me that I carry with me all the time. And she's one of I'll get like emotional thinking about it. I have a Venus in Cancer, right? Like I love mom. I'm a big fan. So go check in with her. See what she has to give you. See what she has to hold. And if you've never played with or engaged with this kind of idea of this like inner mother that's your own, have fun with it. Explore. See who comes to the table to be with you, and see what she has to offer. I think this is going to be a beautiful month of clarity, of understanding. And yes, there will be shifts. Yes, you will notice that there will be a desire for shifts and change and just improvements in these little nooks and crannies. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out for you. I'd love for you to leave a comment and let me know how this month is feeling for you. Also hang out, like, subscribe. I love seeing you guys here. I'm going to be going deep diving on the Mercury retrograde coming up, because it is a very powerful one that is extremely medicinal. And I do find Mercury retrograde gets to be misunderstood. So we're going to be going through that together on Patreon. We're going to have our weekly chats. It's a really great space. I would love to see you there. You can also find me on Instagram and my website. I'll leave all my links below so you know where to find me. I love you, my Aries friends, and I want the best things for you in this life. I want Aries energy to feel loved and empowered so that the beauty of your energy really gets a chance to move through the world. So I will see you all so soon, and I'm hoping to see you in any of the places I mentioned. Talk to you soon, my friends.